The clock on the wall showed 2:17 a.m. Jeho Park rubbed his tired eyes but kept working. His small lab at Seoul National University was quiet at this hour, just how he liked it. One more test, he said to himself, adjusting the controls on his quantum device. The machine hummed louder as tiny blue lights blinked across its surface. Jeho was 32 years old, with short black hair and eyes that showed his sharp mind. He was not famous. He was not rich. But in the world of quantum physics, a few people knew his work was special. Tonight felt different. His calculations suggested he might finally prove his theory about how energy moves between dimensions. If he was right, it would change everything scientists knew about the universe. The machine's hum grew into a high-pitched whine. Blue light from the device filled the room, casting strange shadows on the walls. Jeho checked his computer screen. The numbers were perfect. Better than perfect. "This can't be right," he whispered, leaning closer to the screen. That's when the air in the lab began to shimmer, like heat rising from hot pavement. Jeho stepped back from his desk. The shimmering air formed a circle in the middle of the room. It grew larger, swirling like water down a drain, but in reverse. Jeho reached for his phone to record what was happening, but it slipped from his shaking hand. The swirling air suddenly flashed with bright light. Jeho covered his eyes. When he looked again, he was no longer alone. 3 tall figures stood in his lab. They had pale blue skin that seemed to glow slightly. Their eyes were large and completely black. They wore simple silver suits that moved like liquid when they stepped forward. "Jeho Park," said the tallest one. Its voice sounded like several people speaking at once. "Your work has been noticed." Jeho backed up until he hit the wall. "Who are you? What do you want?" "I am Ambassador Kyun of the Terran Collective," the tall figure said. "We have been watching your species for a very long time." One of the other beings moved to Jeho's quantum device and studied it with interest. "Your machine," Ambassador Kyun said. "It works in ways you do not yet understand, but you are closer to the truth than any human has been before." Jeho's fear began to mix with curiosity. "You're aliens? Real aliens?" Ambassador Kyun made a sound like quiet laughter. "Yes, we are real. And we have chosen you." "Chosen me for what?" "To represent your world in the galactic confluence." Before Jeho could ask what that meant, the smallest alien pressed something against his neck. A cold feeling spread through his body, and the lab began to fade around him. Jeho woke up in a room with curved walls that glowed with soft light. He was lying on something that felt like a bed, but had no frame or legs. It simply floated above the floor. He sat up quickly. His head spun for a moment, then cleared. The room was empty except for the floating bed and what looked like a window showing stars moving past at incredible speed. A door appeared in the wall, sliding open silently. Ambassador Kyun entered, followed by another alien who was shorter and had markings on its face. "You are awake," Ambassador Kyun said. "Good. We have much to discuss." "Where am I?" Jeho asked, his voice stronger than he expected. "You are aboard the Nexus, our main vessel. We are currently leaving your solar system." Jeho stood up. "Take me back. You can't just take people from Earth." "We can. We have. For centuries." Ambassador Kyun gestured to the shorter alien. "This is Hanul. She will prepare you for what comes next." Hanul stepped forward. Her voice was softer than Kyun's. "The galactic confluence begins in 30 Earth days. You must be ready." "What is this confluence? Why me?" Ambassador Kyun moved to the window. "It is a competition that determines each species' place in the galactic community. As for why you were chosen," the alien turned to face Jeho. "Your work with quantum dimensions showed us that humans are finally evolving in useful ways." "Useful?" Jeho didn't like how that sounded. "Rest now," Ambassador Kyun said, moving toward the door. "Tomorrow, you begin training. Your species' future depends on your performance." As the aliens left, Juho ran to the window. Outside, the stars stretched into lines of light as the ship moved faster than he thought possible. Earth was already far behind. He was alone. He was afraid. But deep inside, a small spark of determination began to grow. Jaiho woke to a soft chiming sound. The room's walls changed from dark blue to a warm yellow, like sunrise on Earth. For a moment, he thought he was home and the aliens had been a strange dream. Then he saw the stars moving past his window and remembered. The door slid open, and Haynul entered carrying a tray with food. "You must eat," she said, placing the tray on a table that rose from the floor. "Your training begins today." Jaiho looked at the food. There were colorful cubes and what looked like soup in a bowl that had no bottom yet somehow held the liquid. "Is this safe for humans?" he asked. "Yes. We have studied your kind for many years. This food will give you strength and help your brain work better." Haynul's black eyes watched him carefully. "You will need both for the tests ahead." Jaiho tried a blue cube. It tasted like fruit and honey. The soup reminded him of the seaweed soup his mother made, but with a spicy kick that made his eyes water. After he ate, Haynul led Jaiho through long hallways where other aliens worked. Some looked like the Terran, with their blue skin. Others were very different. Some had 4 arms, others had scales or fur. They stopped at a large door. "This is the training center," Haynul said. "Inside, you will meet someone who can help you understand what is expected." The door opened to reveal a huge room filled with strange equipment. In the center stood a man, a human man. "Hello," the man said in Korean. "My name is Taiwan. I've been waiting to meet you." Jaiho stared in shock. Taiwan looked to be in his 40s, with streaks of gray in his hair. He wore the same silver suit as the aliens, but his eyes were kind and very human. "You're from Earth?" Jaiho asked, also in Korean. "I was taken 15 years ago," Taiwan said. "I was a language professor at HFY University. Now I work as a translator for the Terran." Haynul stepped back. "I will return in 4 hours. Taiwan will explain the tests and begin your preparation." She left, the door closing behind her. "How many humans are here?" Jaiho asked once they were alone. "More than you would think," Taiwan said quietly. "Dozens, maybe hundreds. The Terran don't like us to meet each other. I had to request special permission to train you. Why am I here? What is this confluence really about?" Taiwan looked around, then lowered his voice. "The official story is that it's a contest to decide each species' place in the galactic order. But something else is happening." He tapped his head. "Humans think differently than other species. The Terran find this interesting. Is there a way back to Earth? Not that I've found yet." Taiwan smiled sadly. "But for now, we need to make the Terran believe you're cooperating. The first test measures how you solve problems under stress." For the next 3 hours, Taiwan showed Jaiho strange puzzles and tests. One was a cube that changed shape when touched. Another was a helmet that showed pictures only Jaiho could see, asking him to describe them. "You're doing well," Taiwan said as Jaiho completed a test where he had to predict which way a liquid would flow through a maze. "Better than most. Your mind works the way they like. Is that good or bad?" Taiwan's face grew serious. "I don't know yet, but listen carefully. Don't show them everything you can do. Keep some of your abilities secret." "Why?" "Because." Taiwan stopped as the door opened and Haynul returned with another Terran. "Training session complete," Haynul announced. "Ambassador Kyun wishes to see your progress, Jaiho Park." As Jaiho followed them out, Taiwan caught his arm and whispered, "Trust no one. Not even me. Things here are not what they seem." Before Jaiho could ask what he meant, Taiwan stepped back and bowed formally, as if they had just finished a normal lesson. That night, lying in his floating bed, Jai-Ho thought about Ta-One's warning. Outside his window, the stars continued to streak by, taking him farther from Earth with each passing moment. But now, at least he knew he wasn't alone. 2 weeks passed. Jai-Ho trained every day, learning to use strange alien technology and solving increasingly difficult puzzles. The Terran seemed pleased with his progress, especially Ambassador Kyun, who often watched from behind a glowing screen. Today, Hae-Nul was teaching Jai-Ho how to access the ship's knowledge system. They sat in a room with walls that displayed information when touched. "Place your hand here," Hae-Nul said, pointing to a blue circle on the wall. "Think about what you want to know, and the system will find it." Jai-Ho pressed his palm against the circle. The wall lit up with images and words in the Terran language. "I cannot read this," he said. "The system will adjust to your brain patterns. Try again and think about something specific." Jai-Ho closed his eyes and thought about the galactic confluence. What were the rules? What would he face? When he opened his eyes, the wall showed pictures of strange arenas and alien creatures performing tasks. Some looked like tests of strength. Others were clearly about solving complex problems. "These are recordings from past confluences," Hae-Nul explained. "Study them. Learn from those who succeeded." Hae-Nul was called away by another Terran. "Continue your research. I will return in 1 hour." Alone in the room, Jai-Ho remembered Ta-One's warning. He placed his hand on the blue circle again and thought, "Show me Earth's past representatives." The wall flickered, then displayed a message in Korean. "Access restricted." Jai-Ho frowned. Why would that be secret? He tried another approach. "Show me records of human performance in tests." This time, the wall changed. Videos appeared showing humans in different tests. Jai-Ho watched carefully. A young woman solved a puzzle in half the time of alien competitors. A middle-aged man predicted patterns that seemed random. A teenage boy built a device from strange parts with no instructions. At the bottom of each video was a rating and notes. Jai-Ho was surprised to see the word HFY on each record, despite the humans performing well. He touched one video to expand it. The woman who had solved the puzzle quickly was now in a different room. Terran scientists placed a device on her head. She screamed as blue light surrounded her. The scientists took readings, nodding with satisfaction. Jai-Ho's heart beat faster. He touched another video. The same thing. Another human labeled a failure despite doing well, then subjected to some kind of brain scanning. He noticed a pattern in the dates. Humans had been brought to the ship every 10 years for at least a century. None were ever shown returning to Earth. Jai-Ho heard footsteps approaching. Quickly, he changed the display back to the official confluence records. But he saved one name in his memory. Sung-min, a physicist like himself, taken 30 years ago. Hae-Nul returned with a meal tray. "Have you learned useful information?" "Yes," Jai-Ho said, trying to keep his voice calm. "The confluence has many different challenges." That night, Jai-Ho waited until the lights in his room dimmed. He whispered, "Is anyone monitoring this room?" A small voice came from a hidden speaker. "All quarters are monitored for safety." Jai-Ho thought carefully about his next move. The next day during training, he managed to speak privately with Ta-One for a few moments. "I need to know about Sung-min," Jai-Ho whispered. Ta-One's face went pale. "Where did you hear that name?" "In the archives. He was like me, a physicist. They called him a failure, but he did well in the tests." Ta-One glanced around nervously. "Meet me tonight. I'll show you something important." He slipped Jai-Ho a small device. "This will disable your room's monitoring for 5 minutes. Use it at midnight." When midnight came, Jai-Ho activated the device. A small light blinked green. Ta-One appeared on the screen in Jai-Ho's room. "Listen carefully. We don't have much time. The confluence is not a competition. Humans aren't being tested for galactic standing." "Then what is it?" Jai-Ho asked. They're harvesting us. Our minds. Humans can see patterns other species can't. The Terran and 6 other species form the Galactic Council. They use us to improve their technology. But why call us failures if we do well? Because they don't want their own people to know what they're doing. It's against their laws to exploit sentient species. Ta-Wan looked over his shoulder. I have to go. There. The screen went dark. Jiho was left alone with the terrible truth and a growing anger inside him. The next day, Jiho pretended nothing had changed. He smiled at Haenul and worked hard on his tests. Inside, his mind raced with plans. During lunch, he was taken to a new area, a large room where aliens in white uniforms moved between beds with sick patients. This is our medical center, Haenul explained. Today you will have a health check. A human woman approached them. She wore the same white uniform as the alien doctors, but her eyes were dark brown and her black hair was tied back neatly. I am Enji, she said in Korean. I will examine you today. Haenul nodded. I will return in 1 hour. She left them alone in a small exam room. As soon as the door closed, Yunji's professional smile disappeared. You're the new human, she whispered. Ta-Wan told me about you. Where is Ta-Wan? Jiho asked. I haven't seen him since our last talk. They moved him to another section. They suspect he's helping humans. Yunji took out medical tools and began a fake examination. We need to talk, but they're watching. She handed Jiho a small white pill. This is just a vitamin, she said loudly, then whispered. It contains a tiny communication device. Swallow it. Jiho did as she asked. She continued the exam, speaking quietly. I was taken when I was 7 years old. I've lived among the Terran most of my life. They raised me to help them understand human biology. How many humans are on this ship? Jiho asked. Over 200. Most don't know why they're really here. Yunji checked his heart rate. Some work for the Terran willingly. They'd forgotten Earth or believe the aliens are helping humanity. And the others? We wait. We watch. We plan. She looked directly at him. And now we have you. Why am I so important? Your research on Earth. You almost discovered something the Terran have been hiding. That human brains can generate energy frequencies that affect their technology. She smiled. In fact, these frequencies can hurt them if used correctly. Jiho remembered his quantum experiments. You mean humans can be weapons against them? Exactly. That's why they took you. They saw your research was getting close to the truth. Yunji checked the door, then continued. Tonight at 3 a.m. ship time, someone will visit you. His name is Do-Hyun. He's been modifying ship systems for years, preparing for a chance like this. The door slid open and Haenul returned. Is everything normal? She asked. Yes, Yunji said, back to her professional manner. He is very healthy. That night, Jiho lay awake, waiting. At exactly 3 a.m., a section of wall slid open. A man stepped through, older, with strong hands and a serious face. I'm Do-Hyun, he said. We don't have much time. How did you get in here? I spent 12 years learning how this ship works. I can go almost anywhere. Do-Hyun pulled out a small device. This will block monitoring for 10 minutes. He activated it and sat on the edge of Jiho's bed. Yunji said, you know the truth now. The question is, what will you do about it? I want to stop them, Jiho said, and get back to Earth. Good. We have a plan, but we needed someone like you. Someone who understands the science. Do-Hyun smiled. The confluence starts in 3 days. Once it begins, security will focus on the competition. That's when we move. What's the plan? First, we need to contact Ta-Wan again. He has access to the central communication hub. Then, Yunji will help us find the other humans who will join us. Do-Hyun stood up. Your job is to keep performing well. Make them think you're their perfect test subject. And then, And then we show the galaxy the truth about what the Council has been doing. Du Hyun checked a small device on his wrist. Time's up. From now on, we'll communicate through the device Unji gave you. Just think your message clearly while touching your back teeth together. As Du Hyun slipped back through the hidden door, Jae-ho felt something he hadn't felt since his abduction. Hope. That night, Jae-ho tried the communication method. He touched his back teeth together and thought clearly. I'm ready. A few seconds later, he heard Eunji's voice in his head. Good. The resistance begins now. The day of the galactic confluence arrived. Jae-ho was given a new suit to wear, silver with blue lines that glowed when he moved. Hae-nul came to his room early. Today you represent Earth, she said. The Council will be watching. Do your best. Jae-ho nodded. I'm ready. They walked through the ship to a huge round room. Thousands of aliens sat in rising seats around a central area. In the center were 28 platforms, each with a different being standing on it. Those are the representatives from each chosen world, Hae-nul explained. You will join them. As Jae-ho walked to his platform, he looked at the other competitors. Some had scales, others had fur. One looked like a tall plant with eyes. None looked human. Screens appeared around the room. Ambassador Kyun's face was shown as he spoke. Welcome to the 127th Galactic Confluence, his voice boomed. Today begins the testing of species for their place in our great community. May the most worthy rise. The first challenge was announced. Mental pattern recognition. Jae-ho's platform moved to a small room. Inside was a table with what looked like a glass cube. As he touched it, patterns of light appeared inside, changing and shifting quickly. Identify the pattern and predict the next sequence, a voice said. Jae-ho studied the lights. They seemed random at first, but he began to see connections. It reminded him of his quantum research. He placed his fingers on different sides of the cube, pressing in a specific order. The cube glowed bright blue. Pattern correctly identified. Time, 47 seconds. When Jae-ho returned to the main area, the scores appeared on the screens. He had finished third fastest. 2 others had solved it more quickly. Throughout the day, there were 5 more challenges. Jae-ho did well in most of them. During a break, he pretended to drink from a water cup while using the communication device. I'm doing well in the competition, he thought while touching his back teeth. Eunji's voice came into his mind. Good. Keep going. We're making progress with our plan. The next voice surprised him. It was Ta-won. I'm back in the communication hub. The council members are impressed with you, Jae-ho. They're already planning the harvesting procedure. Jae-ho felt cold fear at those words, but kept his face calm. When will they try to harvest me? He asked through the device. After the final round, Ta-won replied, 3 days from now. But we'll move before then. Keep singing those old Korean songs during your tests. Jae-ho had been softly singing traditional Korean songs during challenges. He thought it was just to calm his nerves. Why the songs? He asked. The aliens can't understand them properly, Eunji explained. Their translation systems think it's just meaningless cultural sounds, but other humans can hear the real words. You're becoming famous among our people on the ship. During the final challenge of the day, Jae-ho noticed something important. A representative from a planet called Vexura, a small gray being with 4 eyes, was using a method similar to his own. When their eyes met, the alien gave a slight nod. Later, back in his room, Jae-ho received another message. The Vexuran representative wants to meet you. They know what's happening to their people too. The next day, during a simulation challenge, Jae-ho found himself working beside the Vexuran. My name is Kiri, the alien whispered in broken human language. My people also used by council. We help you. How many other species know they're being exploited? Jae-ho asked quietly. 7 know. Maybe more. All afraid to speak. Kiri's 4 eyes blinked sadly. Council take best minds from each world. Never return them. That night, Du-hyun visited Jeho again. We've made contact with representatives from 5 other species, he said. They all want to join our plan. The Council has been doing this for thousands of years. What about Hae-Nul? Jeho asked. She seems different from the other Terran. We're not sure about her yet, Du-hyun admitted. Some Terran disagree with what their leaders are doing, but most are too afraid to help. As Du-hyun left, Jeho looked out at the stars. Tomorrow would be the second day of competition. He was no longer just fighting for Earth. He was fighting for all the worlds that had lost their brightest minds to the Council's greed. By the end of the second day of competition, Jeho had moved into second place overall. Only a tall, snake-like alien from a world called Drath was ahead of him. The Terran Council members watched Jeho with growing interest. As Hae-Nul led him back to his room, she was unusually quiet. You did very well today, she finally said, stopping in an empty hallway. Perhaps too well. Jeho tensed. What do you mean? Hae-Nul looked around carefully, then spoke in a low voice. I know you've been communicating with the other humans. I know about the resistance. Jeho's heart raced. He prepared to run, but Hae-Nul raised her hand. I want to help you, she said. Why would you help us against your own people? Jeho asked, suspicious. Because what the Council is doing is wrong. Hae-Nul's black eyes seemed sad. Not all Terran agree with harvesting other species' minds. Some of us believe it violates the true cosmic order. Prove it, Jeho said. Prove you want to help. The harvesting chamber is on level 7, section Blue 9. There are always 4 guards. The procedure is scheduled for you immediately after the final competition round. She held out a small silver disc. This will temporarily disable the neural extraction equipment. Place it under the headrest when they put you in the chair. Jeho took the disc but remained cautious. I'll consider what you've said. That night, he told the others about Hae-Nul's offer. It could be a trap. Du-hyun warned through the communication device. Or she could be our way into the central systems, Ta-1 countered. Some Terran have helped humans before. We should test her, Yeonji suggested. Give her a small task first. The next morning, Jeho approached Hae-Nul before training. If you truly want to help, we need access to the ship's announcement system. Hae-Nul nodded. I can get you into the communication hub tomorrow during the final round. But only you. The third day of competition was the hardest. Jeho faced challenges that tested his physical strength, mental speed, and problem-solving abilities. By midday, he had moved into first place. The Council members were now watching him constantly. During the lunch break, Kiri the Vexaran approached him quietly. Be careful, the 4-eyed alien whispered. They're very excited about your brain. Think you special. Jeho nodded his thanks. As he returned to the competition floor, he noticed Ambassador Kyun talking with Hae-Nul, looking at data screens showing Jeho's test results. The final round was announced. Quantum probability manipulation. This was exactly what Jeho had been researching on Earth. He tried not to show his excitement. This was his chance to truly impress the Council and gain their trust. As the competitors took their places, Hae-Nul approached Jeho. Remember, she whispered, after this final test, I will help you access the communication hub. Jeho performed brilliantly in the final challenge, manipulating quantum particles to create stable patterns that even the Terran judges seemed impressed by. When the scores were tallied, Jeho stood in first place overall. Ambassador Kyun personally came to congratulate him. Earth has produced something special in you, Jeho Park. Your mind will greatly benefit the Council's work. As the closing ceremony began, Hae-Nul led Jeho away from the main hall. Now is our chance, she said. The communication hub is this way. They moved through quiet corridors, using Hae-Nul's access codes to pass through security gates. Finally, they reached a door marked with Terran symbols. This is it, Hae-Nul said. Inside, you can send a message to all ships in the fleet. As the door opened, Jai-Ho felt a moment of hope, but then he saw Ambassador Kyun waiting inside with 4 guards. "Well done, Hae-Nul," Kyun said. "You were right. He was planning something." Jai-Ho turned to Hae-Nul, betrayal burning in his chest. "You lied to me." Hae-Nul wouldn't meet his eyes. "I'm sorry, Jai-Ho. My loyalty must be to my people first." "Take him to the harvesting chamber," Ambassador Kyun ordered. "His mind is exactly what we've been searching for. Begin the extraction immediately." 2 guards grabbed Jai-Ho's arms. As they dragged him away, he managed to activate the communication device one last time. "Hae-Nul betrayed us," he thought desperately. "They're taking me to the harvesting chamber now." The last thing he saw before being pulled from the room was Hae-Nul, still staring at the floor, her hand secretly moving to a control panel on the wall. The harvesting chamber was cold and bright. Jai-Ho was strapped to a chair in the center. Around him, Terran scientists prepared strange machines. Above his head hung a device with sharp metal points aimed at his skull. "Begin the neural mapping," one scientist ordered. Jai-Ho struggled against the straps. "You won't get away with this. People on Earth will know what happened to me." Ambassador Kyun entered the room. "No one on Earth will know anything, just like they never knew about the others we took." He checked a screen showing Jai-Ho's brain patterns. "Your mind will help us develop new technologies that will keep the Council in power for another century." The scientists lowered the pointed device closer to Jai-Ho's head. It began to hum and glow blue. "Full extraction in 3 minutes," a scientist announced. Jai-Ho closed his eyes. Had his message reached the others? Was this the end? Suddenly, the lights went out. The room plunged into darkness. The machine above Jai-Ho's head powered down. "Emergency generators," Ambassador Kyun shouted. "Get them online now." Red emergency lights came on. In the dim light, Jai-Ho saw the door slide open. 2 figures rushed in, Yeon-ji and Do-hyun. Do-hyun knocked down 2 guards while Yeon-ji ran to Jai-Ho. She quickly released the straps holding him. "Come on," she urged. "We don't have much time." Jai-Ho jumped from the chair. "How did you find me?" "Hae-Nul told us," Yeon-ji said, surprising him. "She's the one who cut the power. But she betrayed me to Kyun." "No," Do-hyun said, throwing a guard across the room. "She made it look that way so Kyun would bring you here instead of the high-security area. This room was easier to access." They ran into the hallway where more guards were approaching. Do-hyun pointed to a side passage. "This way." As they ran through the ship, alarms blared. Announcements in the Terran language echoed through the corridors. "They're calling all security to find us," Yeon-ji explained as they ducked into a maintenance tunnel. They crawled through narrow spaces between the walls of the ship. Finally, they reached a small room filled with equipment. "The auxiliary communication hub," Do-hyun said. "Smaller than the main one, but it can still reach the whole ship." Tae-won was waiting for them. His face showed relief when he saw Jai-Ho. "You made it. We thought we lost you." "What's the plan now?" Jai-Ho asked. "We need to broadcast the truth to everyone on the ship and to all the representatives from other worlds," Tae-won explained. Do-hyun has created a device that can bypass the Council's communication controls. Do-hyun pulled out a small box with wires sticking out. "This connects directly to the quantum communication network. Once activated, they can't shut it down." "But what will we broadcast?" Jai-Ho asked. Yeon-ji smiled. "That's where you come in. Your quantum research on Earth was getting close to something important. The frequency your experiments generated can be used to carry information directly into the neural interfaces all beings on this ship use." Jai-Ho understood. "We can send the truth directly into their minds. Show them the evidence of what the Council has been doing." "Exactly," Tae-won said. "But we need you to adjust the quantum frequency settings. Only you understand the science well enough." As Jai-Ho worked with the device, connecting it to the ship's systems, Du Hyun kept watch at the door. "They're coming," he warned after a few minutes. "A lot of them." Jai-ho worked faster, adjusting controls and connecting wires. Almost there. The door began to glow red as the guards tried to cut through it. "We need more time," Jai-ho said desperately. Do Hyun looked at the others. "I'll give you that time." Before anyone could stop him, he grabbed a tool from the wall and ran out a second door. They heard him in the hallway, shouting and making noise. The sounds of the guards changed direction, following him. "He's leading them away," Yeonji whispered, tears in her eyes. The cutting at their door stopped. Ji-ho connected the final wire. "It's ready," he said. "When I activate this, it will broadcast the evidence to everyone." They heard weapons fire in the distance, then silence. "Do it," Tai-won said quietly. "For Do Hyun, for all of us." Jai-ho pressed the activation switch. The device hummed to life, glowing with blue energy. "Broadcasting now," he said. "The truth is finally going to be heard." The quantum transmitter glowed brighter as it connected to the ship's network. Jai-ho, Yeonji, and Tai-won watched as screens around them lit up, showing the broadcast spreading throughout the ship. "It's working," Tai-won said, his voice filled with hope. "But we need more than just raw data. We need to explain what it means." Jai-ho nodded. "I'll speak to them." He stepped in front of the main screen. His face appeared on displays across the ship and on communication devices throughout the fleet. "My name is Jai-ho Park," he began. "I am from Earth. I was taken to compete in what I was told was the galactic confluence, but the truth is much darker." As he spoke, Yeonji fed evidence into the broadcast, videos of humans and other species being harvested, secret council documents, records of centuries of exploitation. "The Galactic Council has been stealing the brightest minds from dozens of worlds," Jai-ho continued. "They take our knowledge, our abilities, our very thoughts, and use them to build their power. They leave empty shells behind, or simply make us disappear." Tai-won handed Ji-ho more evidence, files showing how the Council had improved their technology using stolen ideas from lesser species. "This is not just about humans," Jai-ho said. "Every world that has been labeled developing has had their best people taken. The Council calls us resources, not equals." Outside the door, they heard guards returning. Heavy weapons pounded against the sealed entrance. "They're trying to stop the broadcast," Yeonji said. "Keep going," Tai-won urged. "People are watching." Jai-ho continued speaking as the door began to glow red from cutting tools. "The Council breaks its own laws. Their founding charter forbids the exploitation of sentient beings, yet they have been doing exactly that for thousands of years." The door burst open. Guards rushed in, weapons raised. Behind them stood Ambassador Kyun, his blue face dark with anger. "End this transmission now," he ordered. "It's too late," Jai-ho said calmly. The truth is already spreading. On screens around the room, they could see aliens throughout the ship watching the broadcast. Many looked shocked or angry. Some Terran were arguing with each other. "You have no proof," Ambassador Kyun shouted. "We have this." Jai-ho held up a small crystal, the memories of hundreds of humans who were harvested. "Hae-Newell helped us retrieve them from your secret archives." The door opened again. Hae-Newell entered, followed by several Terran wearing different uniforms than the guards. "Ambassador Kyun," one of them said, "by authority of the Terran Ethics Council, you are relieved of duty. These broadcasts show clear violations of the Charter of Sentient Rights." Kyun turned to Hae-Newell. "You betrayed your own people." "No," she replied. "I honored our true values. What you did was the betrayal." More guards arrived, but these ones stood with Hae-Newell. The room was now divided between two groups of Terran, facing each other tensely. Jai-ho turned back to the screen. "What makes humanity special isn't just our cognitive patterns or our scientific abilities. It's our resilience, our moral courage, our unwillingness to accept injustice. These are things the Council could never extract or copy. Taiwan suddenly grabbed Jiaho's arm. Look at the ship readings. Other vessels are responding. The screens showed ships throughout the fleet sending messages. Representatives from other worlds were demanding answers from their Terran handlers. They're rising up, Yunji whispered. All of them. A wounded figure appeared at the door. Du Hyun, holding his side but still standing. Did it work? He asked weakly. Yes, Jiaho said, helping him to a chair. It worked better than we hoped. The ship suddenly shook. Alarms sounded. What's happening? Jiaho asked. One of Han Newell's allies checked a control panel. Multiple ships are breaking formation. Some council members are trying to escape. Others are fighting each other. The council is falling apart, Han Newell said. After thousands of years, their lies can no longer protect them. On the screens, chaos spread throughout the fleet. But amidst the confusion, something new was forming. Species that had been enemies were now communicating, sharing their experiences of exploitation. What happens now? Jiaho asked, watching the historic moment unfold. Now, Han Newell said, everything changes. 6 months passed. Jiaho stood by a large window on the main deck of the Nexus, watching Earth grow larger as the ship approached. After all this time, he was finally going home. So much had changed. The Galactic Council had fallen apart in days after the broadcast. Many council members fled. Others faced justice from their own people. Ambassador Kyun and his closest allies were now confined to a small moon, waiting for trial by a new interstellar court. Are you ready? Asked Han Newell, joining Jiaho at the window. I'm not sure, Jiaho admitted. How do you tell people on Earth that aliens are real and have been taking humans for centuries? Carefully, Han Newell said with a small smile. But they deserve to know the truth. After the uprising, the freed species had formed a new alliance, the Collective of Free Worlds. Leaders from 28 planets, including those who had been in the competition, now worked together to create fair laws. Jiaho had been named Earth's first official representative. Yunji approached them, wearing a formal uniform with the new collective symbol. The transmission is ready. Earth's governments are standing by. Jiaho took a deep breath. Let's do this. They walked to the communications center where Ta-1 was adjusting the equipment. Du Hyun sat nearby, his injuries healed but with new scars showing on his arms. All major Earth languages are ready for translation, Ta-1 reported. We'll broadcast to all their communication networks at once. Jiaho stood before the camera. The red light blinked on. People of Earth, he began. My name is Jiaho Park. 6 months ago, I was taken from my laboratory in Seoul. What I've learned since then will change our world forever. For the next hour, Jiaho explained everything. The Terran, the Council's exploitation, the revolution, and humanity's new place in the galactic community. He showed evidence and introduced his human and alien allies. When the broadcast ended, Earth exploded with reactions. Some people panicked. Others celebrated. Governments argued about how to respond. 3 days later, the Nexus landed in a large field outside Seoul. World leaders gathered to meet the ship. Soldiers and scientists surrounded the area, nervous but excited. As the ship's door opened, Jiaho led a small group out. Beside him walked Han Newell, Yunji, Ta-1, and Du Hyun. Behind them came representatives from 7 other worlds, including Curie the Vexeran. On behalf of Earth, we welcome you, said the Secretary General of the United Nations, stepping forward. We come in peace and truth, Jiaho replied formally. That night, in a quiet moment, Jiaho sat with his human friends on a hillside, looking at the stars. For the first time, they could see Earth's sky again. What happens now? Yunji asked. Now Earth joins the galaxy as equals, Ta-1 said. No more abductions. No more secrets. And the others who were taken? Du Hyun asked. The ones who were harvested. We found 217 humans still on Terran ships, Jai-Ho said. They're coming home. For those who were harvested, we've created a memorial. Their sacrifice won't be forgotten. Hanul approached the group. The collective council is meeting. They need their Earth representative. Jai-Ho nodded and stood. Before leaving, he looked again at the night sky. You know what's strange, he said. The council thought they were taking our greatest resource when they harvested our minds, but they missed what truly makes humans special. What's that? Asked Hanul. Our connection to each other, our sense of right and wrong, our willingness to stand up against injustice, even when it seems impossible. Jai-Ho smiled at his friends. They tried to take our intelligence, but they couldn't take our humanity. 1 year later, the first official Earth ship launched into space, heading for the collective headquarters. On board were scientists, diplomats, and explorers, all volunteers, all going with full knowledge. As the ship accelerated toward the stars, Jai-Ho watched from the bridge. Earth grew smaller behind them. A new chapter was beginning. Captain Park, the pilot said. Course is set. Ready for quantum jump. Jai-Ho nodded. Take us forward. The ship leaked into the depths of space, carrying humanity's true strength, not just their minds, but their heart, courage, and unbreakable spirit. Out to the waiting stars. The end.